think we're all good. Awesome. Hello and welcome in for everyone who is joining offline. Today we're going to be continuing work on the downtown illustration. Specifically, we're going to work on coloring in the buildings and seeing if we can get all the detail stuff in. Ideally, I would like to start rendering at some point, but I think we need a little. We'll see. All right. I think I'll give people a little bit. I have some popcorn this week, so while I have something to eat, it's not dinner this time. I had dinner at a more reasonable time. Hello, welcome in. And I think it's time to get started. Alright, where's my glove? Dang it. Hello! Hello, peculiar persona. Welcome in. Thankfully I have two gloves. For a second there, I thought I was gonna have to run off to my bedroom to go grab mine. It's okay, I have a backup glove. Your day has been going well. Say mine has been pretty good. I worked on making some crows today. That was good. Let me pull up the previous illustration for building ideas. Oh, one of the things that I went over to a park today after work, see if I could find my boyfriend's keys. I got lost in the snow, unfortunately for him. The snow has since melted, so I thought I could try and find them. No luck with that. But it was an attempted effort. Yeah. It was not the most ideal thing that could have happened. But it's fine, because that just meant he had to spend the night. Oh no. But yeah, I did not find his keys, unfortunately. 'Tis okay. That happened a while ago, so he was able to get all the replacements he needed. It was just a case of wanting some of the physical keys that were on his keyring. Maybe not necessarily the car keys themselves. You can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm lassoing one of the buildings so I can go crazy and not worry about going over. So this building is like this orangish color, and I want this front building to be just a touch bit lighter than that. Peculiar person, did you do anything fun today? Like the anarchy? Maybe not the anarchy. Maybe the government. I don't know. I don't know your life. Maybe you did fight the government. I'm working on creating a Pearlescent Moon cosplay. Ooh! art are you working on? Are you doing wig stuff? Are you creating the outfit? No. Working on accessories. Ooh, how fun. Dang it. I made a Sky Children of the Light cosplay once. That was pretty fun. Thinking about, I don't know, maybe once my dad gets that that 3D printer he's been talking about, I can 3D print the mask. Because I've made it physically a couple times now, and while that's fun, it's not the most... It's not the best looking mask. The second one definitely turned out better than the first one. Because the first one was just paper plate. But, you know, it could be improved. There could be things that are better. Pretty decent at using Blender, so I think I could make the mask in there, and then and paint in all the details that I want. It could be fun, but I don't need to take on another project at the moment. Too many. Current biggest project is painting my bedroom. It's been quite the project, I would say. No, I don't need to discover anything, Adobe. We're good. I know how this program works. We're fine. Alright, so this is like a cool green. A little less cool. Maybe a touch bit darker? Maybe it was less cool than I thought. Yeah, that looks about right. Maybe? I feel like I'm barely changing anything. Okay, and then we can add in all the striping. Doesn't even need to be perfect, it just needs to be there, to exist. Because it just existing makes everything better. You know, I created some colored pencil characters today. I guess I was like, okay, that was pretty easy to draw. That shouldn't be too difficult for the kids to replicate. I think sometimes I forget what I consider to be easy. It's not what kids consider to be easy. There's a lot of hidden fundamental stuff that I'm working with that they have no knowledge of. That's okay. Challenges just mean you're learning. If I didn't challenge them, How would they learn to make cool projects? Oh, there's like tiny brick detailing on this. On one hand, I'm trying to improve this, so looking at the old drawing maybe isn't necessarily helping with that, but then also looking at the old drawing means I don't have to redo all of the thinking that I did earlier when I was making this piece. I can just focus on the new stuff. Like the bike paths! That's such a great addition. They were sorely needed. How was I gonna have a town that had a whole bunch of bikers going around and getting around via bike without any bike paths? That's just insane. Unrealistic of me, really, truly. I had first thought they would just have more road privileges. And there was going to be genuine bike path areas that I just didn't draw in. From what I've seen of road-based videos, my goodness, are cars really bad at sharing the road with bikers? Vice versa, because let's be honest, it doesn't matter who is driving the vehicle, someone is going to be really weird about it via either the bike or the car and not do what they're supposed to do. And even when you do have people doing what they're supposed to do, people are still annoyed. There's no winning. Hence why I'm segregating the vehicles. They don't need to be together. At least not all the time. Now I just need to do that a bunch of times. There's a slight color difference between my monitor and my tablet. It looks so much more vibrant on my end than it does on your end. It's okay. That'll be fixed in the overlay layer. It'll look way oversaturated on my side. But on the monitor, it'll be perfect. I'm currently using, I think it's the Polygon Lasso tool. Yeah, Polygon Lasso tool. So that's good for grabbing a bunch of straight edges and sectioning those off. Go back in and fix all these white dotted lines that are in the shadows. They're annoying. So note to self, if when possible, color the windowsills like some bright, obnoxious color in Blender so I can actually see them, Because, oh my goodness, was I having a time trying to draw out these windowsills. And I didn't have to struggle. That was just something that happened because I couldn't see. Just making things hard on myself, don't worry about it. To make the sidewalk a bit darker, because those two things are kind of blending together. That is not ideal. This side slightly darker, and I can make the top super bright. How many layers do you have on this project? How many do I have on this project? Seven? No, how? No, wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I think I have 8 layers. One of them is a background color layer. Another layer is the Blender image. I'm about 8. I don't think that's too egregious. Decent amount of layers without being ridiculous. That more or less, you expected way more. Yeah, I don't tend to work in a crazy amount of layers. I will have certain layers that isolate others, but other than that, I try and keep things pretty minimal so I don't make myself crazy trying to find a specific layer so I can color something. That happens sometimes where if you have too many, then you're just juggling, and instead of finding the layer you're supposed to, you just make a new one. That was not the right angle. It's okay. I can fix it. I don't know if that bit of orange is good or not. It's probably fine. I guess I could make the building next to it also this pink brick color. I don't necessarily have to alternate everything. It might look better if it doesn't alternate all the time. Just need to make some sort of difference between the two so I don't get confused. I don't need buildings blending into each other. I think the next one I want to do is a white building. Then we can do red brick, do another white, and then pink. I don't want to pattern lift these, I just want it to look like someone built it. To be somewhat homogeneous but different. I don't know if I'm succeeding or not with this, but we're just making buildings. I think at some point I'd given up on the other illustration and just blurred everything out, which I do plan on doing a bit of that. Maybe not to the same extent as I did last time. So we're listening to a new album. I say new, it's just new to the channel. The album itself is not new. Instead of listening to Wanderstop, we're listening to Wanderstop FM. Completely different thing, guys. Completely different. I don't know what you're talking about, but no, completely different. No correlation between the two. I don't know what you're talking about. Beat. Because Wanderstop tends to be on the chiller side, which is fine. But I want a more upbeat album, and I think this one in general is more upbeat to begin with. Right, this one I think I'm gonna make pink color, and then the last building can be white. Not that it's gonna look very white. Okay, so the ice cream shop is orange with blue accents. Let me pull up a picture of the ice cream shop. Dang, I did not do this in recent memory apparently. To my computer anyway. Which means I need to go find it. There it is. Let's go over here, and then I can pull this in so I can color drop from it. Here's the ice cream shop, by the way. Let's make that small. Over here. And then I can color pick from it. How lovely. Orange first, and then go in with the white. This tree is blocking a lot of things, so I won't necessarily have to do everything as it's intended. Also, funny thing about this album, it's very cat themed. I don't know if you've noticed. Looks cool, pun intended. How dare. I'm trying to remember if this album is cat themed or pet themed. If there was other things involved that weren't cats. There is, however, a lot of cats. So if you're ever feeling like, hey, wait, this feels like cat music, it is. It absolutely is. I color picked and then I immediately had to shift gears. So I wanted the ice cream, the stained glass window to be visible, but I think it's just not gonna happen. It's gonna be blocked by the tree. Unfortunately. That's how this needs to go. Oh, careful. Do not want to erase the tree liner. There's other things. These windows are not straight. It's okay. It's okay. They're in the distance. No one will notice. Crap. There we go. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Didn't draw in all of the building details. How dare I? Okay. Couple things. One that's at the hint of the sign. That's not in the drawing because I don't think I committed to a sign design, but half of it's behind a tree anyway. What else? I could probably do this lamp a bit better. And we had a garden box right here that I just didn't put into Blender for some reason. So we can add that in now. Bunch of bushes, fluffy things, flowers. Perhaps should erase the back row before I get too far into the details and make it really hard to do so. That would be the smart thing. Can do all the flowers and whatnot. I still have stuff to erase, dang it. Trying to decide what the theme of this music is. If it's cat or something else. It feels vaguely bird-like, if that makes sense at all. Screaming birds and flying birds. stuff that in. I can add in this window. And the stained glass window will just be hidden. Awesome. That just made it better. There is some railing over here. Is it all the way? Yeah, it is. Hold on. Let me just freehand some railing real quick. That's good enough, right? Right? Really good enough. Don't need anything overly fancy. It's in the distance anyway. It just needs to be there. People know and can use it if they need to. My railing feels slightly wonky. So close to finishing my animation project. You'll be excited to know that I will have a new video coming out soon. I just need to finish the backgrounds for it and do some minor editing. I'm getting close though. There's a few details. Overall, the project is getting closer to completion. Which I'm excited about, because when you finish one project, that means so many more projects can be started. This is a YouTube project. That means I'll start my next YouTube project. I don't have anything specific planned for my next YouTube project. Maybe I'll see if there's been a funny enough clip from Hermitcraft do an animatic too. Not sure yet. I had some ideas for some short videos, so maybe I'll take a break from doing some long form content and make a couple short videos. I mean, I had one idea for a long video. Maybe I should start... Dang it. I hate forgetting to hit shift. I have been working on a Pokemon Nuzlocke. I should finish that and then animate that. Oh, that project's such a beast, though. It's... Why am I doing this? I was doing details I did not need to do. I've been making a bunch of notes on the Nuzlocke. So, you know, I'm able to figure out where I'm gonna be going after having not played in long enough time. And oh my gosh, do I have a lot of notes. I'm thinking this could very easily be a 12 to 15 minute long video. And I don't have a team of people helping me. Dang it. So I'm going to have to be very careful about the sections that I decide to animate. There's a lot more white on this building than I remembered. It just feels like a lot because I'm doing a lot of tiny selections. It doesn't look like I'm doing much right now, but I am. I am selecting stuff. We'll get to the blue soon and it'll be so much better. Maybe. Okay. That is the wrong layer. That was covering up my line work. That is not desired. I actually, hold on, let me reselect that. I think I want that background color for the ice cream to be blue, actually. I don't want that to be white. Stripes. Oh, this building's gonna be so cute. Select off the light, and we can also select off this plant box. Pretty sure this is my most planned out building. Every other building, I am mostly just making it up as I go along. Oh, that's right. That's why I was on the bottom. Darn. Okay. Can't take the easy way out. Gotta rings. For my bedroom painting, I have been working on doing all of the edges, so painting around the plugs, yeah. Outlets. There we go, that's the word I was looking for. Painting around the outlets to make sure I don't get paint on the actual thing. That is not my eraser tool. And that in general. Color that. That's so bizarre. Dang, this ice cream shop really stands out from the rest of the... It draws attention. It's not necessarily bad. It's just funny. It'll probably look a little bit more in place once I have all of the other buildings colored. It's just funny that's the only yellow one. I'll probably use a similar tone yellow to color in the benches. That way the colors dot it in around different points of the environment so it doesn't stand out so badly. Anyway, back to the bedroom. Gone around the dang it, what's it called? The bottom portion of the wall, the baseboard. Painted around the baseboard, painted around the windows. So all I have left to do, because I'm painting the ceiling too, I'm not avoiding that. So I need to make sure I paint around the light fixtures on the ceiling and the fan, different geometric things. And then I can actually get in with the roller. I'm very excited for that. So I think once I get the paint down, it'll just be easy enough to put all of my other items into the room and decorate with the stuff I have. Did I accidentally... Did I just not color in this lamp? I thought I colored that in. Maybe I didn't. I feel like I did, but maybe I didn't. What random layer are you existing on that I don't know about? I need to do another presentation night with my friends. Invite them over so they can see the new place. I think they would enjoy that. I've only had one of two of them over. Had two of them over so far. I need more of them. I was like, why is this not drawing? The flow was low. Just let this run into the other side. This kind of is feeling like a cat now. Just with the striping. Siding. Is there a way to make it look more like siding and less like... edging will help? This is kind of looking like cheese. I talked about it briefly last stream, but I'm warming up to the idea of baking a cake once, doing like a cake baking stream once we hit 5,000 subscribers. I'm getting close. I think we have to get about 200 more, 250 more. And we'll be there. very exciting. That's a lot of people to like my stuff enough to click a button. So, gonna make a cake with the masses. Should probably advertise that at some point so people actually know my plans. Might help things along if they think there's a reward. Morning! Welcome in. We are currently working on the illustration that we were working on last week and the week before that, and also contemplating the 5,000 subscriber special that I was planning. I want to bake a cake on live stream because I think that would be fun. Probably have to come up with some sort of activity to do while I'm actually baking the cake, because there's only so many prep things you can do in between baking the cake, because that's going to take at least, I don't know, 50 minutes. So I need to fill the time for 50 minutes. Maybe we can do silly quizzes. That could be fun. I'm trying to remember your talk last stream when you were planning to be more active online. Yeah, I was gonna be posting more stuff on social media. So I've so far done that. If you've been following my Instagram at all, you would have seen that I've made a couple posts on there. Maybe I should also post them to YouTube just because. See if people enjoy. I made a little ice skating AU for my story when it rains, cause why not? Why not? I write the story. That means I can make all the fandom content I want for it. I can make an ice skating AU. How is Kara? I remember posting back. A post back on Instagram years ago. Yeah. I'm bad at posting consistently. So I did post a couple things on Kara, but I didn't like commit to it, so it didn't necessarily go anywhere. I'm just gonna post on all three. I made a Blue Sky account. I made a Kara. I have the Kara account. I have my Instagram. I'll post to all three of those. See how that goes. Let's see if I can keep it up. I'm gonna try and keep it very chill though. Make some fun stuff. Don't worry too much about the numbers on there. Just show stuff to the people who care. Because I think that was getting to me a bit too much, was the numbers. I didn't like making stuff purely for content based. And the stuff that I made for myself wasn't necessarily performing the way I wanted it to. I was technically doing pretty well on Instagram because I started posting a bunch of Link, The Legend of Zelda reels, which were doing well. But I had to be making fan art stuff in order for it to do well, which was fine and all, but I also wanted to make other stuff. It's just a case of people trying to look and find stuff. And if they don't know who you are, why would they pay attention to your original stuff? And the only way they are going to discover you is if you're making fan art stuff. then they followed you for the fan art stuff. So they may not necessarily like your original stuff, which is okay. They don't have to like everything. It just makes trying to get organic interactions with your stuff a little difficult. I only care because I am doing my gosh darn hardest to make a living. And one of the ways you make a living as an artist is to have people looking at your stuff. It's kind of hard to make a living when you don't have people knowing who you are. Alright, thank you for joining in, Peculiar Person. I wish you the best of luck with your Pearlescent Moon cosplay. Hopefully it's going well. Is Kara worth it? I don't know. It's nice just being able to post just a drawing and not needing to do a whole bunch of extra stuff on that. So in that case, it was fun, but I haven't messed with it enough to be able to give you a straight answer on whether or not I think it's worth posting on. I'll let you know in like 2 months or so. You'll have to ask me the question again because I will definitely forget. Analytics stuff though. My new goal is make stuff I enjoy, try and query in other ways, and just keep my social media updated so that if there's some sort of recruiter who's looking through my socials, I have an updated gallery for them to look through. That is my current goal, and we're not going to worry too much about everything else. I have this fish painting that I'm working on that I am quite enjoying. I did some studies a little while back of Matthew Forsyth. His work is really cool. So then, now anytime that I do some watercolor paintings, I'm more inclined to do it more like how he does it. It's really satisfying to work like that. Takes a while, but it's satisfying. So, this fish painting is kind of in that similar vein, where it is lightly mimicking how he paints, but then I'm adding my own twists to it. Online. So, if you're following any of my social media, I might even put it on YouTube. It's that cool. So I'll keep you guys updated on that though. It's a cool project. I just need to find a bit of time to actually work on it. My time for painting is being divided by my bedroom stuff. Gotta finish and paint that so then I can change rooms because my sibling's graduating and apparently they want to actually have a space to move into. Crazy, I know. Imagine not wanting your sibling to take over 2 bedrooms. How weird. But yeah, need to finish that before they move back home. Like generally good practice. And if I do it quick enough, then I can utilize their desk that they left at home to have a little bit of a sewing lab temporarily. 'Cause currently my sewing stuff's over my aunt's, which isn't necessarily bad because that means anytime I am working on my sewing stuff, I go there with the express purpose of actually working on it, so it happens. But it does make it a bit difficult to work on it whenever. This with the crows though. I currently have 14 of them. I need to go over to Michael's to get some more polyfill. So I have, I don't know, 8 of them that are in stuffed form, and then just 6 skins. Carcasses. Fleece. How do you describe an unstuffed plushie? I don't think any words give it justice. It's just a thing. It's just plush that needs to be stuffed. Unplush plush. I'm also going to make some frogs. But I want it to make a good dent in the crows, because I can do those quickly. Because I have the process pretty down pat at this point. It all needs to get sewed eventually, but man. Doing crows first. For arbitrary reasons. To catch up on the pit. Me and my dad were doing so good watching it as it came out, and then I don't know, we had to move or whatever. And that completely threw us off. Now we're so behind. I have to be careful watching content on TikTok, or else I'll get spoiled. I think I've already been spoiled at least once. The tiniest little bench over here. I don't even know if you know where I'm working currently. It's just so tiny. Any other benches? I think I've got them all. Cool. Now to do the rest of the buildings. Let's save first though. I don't want to lose the progress that I've made. That is not ideal. The color, should I do the building? I'm stuck in between trying to make some of the buildings look unique, and then also knowing that it probably can't. It's just a downtown area. It's just a downtown area. I think I'll have a dark contrasting building behind here. I'll need to erase the area around the trees. And then do 2 pink buildings in the back, because that's falling into the background. Yeah, I think this will be good. No clues. Good. It's closed. See if we can avoid the tree this time. Of course that happens. I love when I tap too many times and it just goes, ah, yes, you were done selecting. I wasn't. Thank you, though. Was just doing a whole bunch of tippity taps. Don't mind me. This is the Polygon Lasso Tools weakness. It's not always the best. No, I always forget. It's not the best at doing tight areas. Now we can make these two buildings pink. Some it looks slightly odd with only having one orange building. I might need to change a couple other buildings to at least have a painted front that looks more colorful than the back. I don't know, it's like, I like the vibe, but then the ice cream shop stands out in a way that might not be nice. Maybe it just looks glaring because it's more saturated on my end through the screen tablet. It's fine. It's fine. You can just make the other buildings look more interesting via having extra details on them. Make these back buildings pink because I don't want any. I barely want any attention on these guys. So they're just gonna sit in the background. Excuse me. Okay. Maybe I need a slightly different color. Maybe this building can be a dark brown. I have to erase it in the tree again. That's okay. Go based off of this and just make it a dark brown color. And I can do some red brick detailing. I was thinking about doing a mural on this side. I have the picture of those fish, because if I pixelate that and then put it on the wall. Let me look at my camera roll real fast. Maybe I have this saved. Please tell me I have it saved. That'd be really helpful. No, I don't. Do I have any other illustrations in here that would look nice as a mural? I want something bright and cheery, something that has plants. Ah, we're on the horse theme section of the of the album. Oh, this is the galloping one. Nice. I'm not seeing anything. I did this painting. Let me see if I have any illustrations on my... I thought there was something wrong with my speakers. No, it's just some bits of the music are silly. Mind it, it just doesn't know what it wants. Do I have anything in my 2025 folder? Ooh, wait, that could work. Let's pull this in. This can go on top. Cut out the white bits. Stop being a smart object. I need you to be a dumb object. And then, what's the aspect ratio of this building? Because I don't want to affect the illustration too much. How would this look if I just squished it? Kind of bad. Okay. Maybe I can wrap it around the building. That could be interesting. Let's cut this in half. And make this a touch bit smaller. I'll need to pixelate this bit. It's a bit too much at the moment. The other half of this and put it in the alleyway. It's so fun right now. I think that's fun. I just need to push this somewhere else. Yeah. Okay. So erase the bits that don't need to be there, and then we can pixelate this. there we go. We'll have some mural projects in the park. I don't even need to redraw it. Fantastic! This was always the goal. You know, I wonder if some people who do digital art and have a ridiculous number of layers, I think it would be really funny if they put a counter on the side of their screen so people could track where they were in terms of their layers. Erase this portion of the building coloring so that I can actually get this looking nice. I'm trying to think what layer effect would actually help make this look blend it in. Because it currently does not look blended in. Hello! Welcome, String! Welcome to the stream. We are currently adding some details. I'm doing a wall mural off to the side. I grabbed one of the illustrations that I had. But I need to change it slightly. Do some sort of pixelization. Because right now... Nope. Not that. Wrong one. This one. Need to do some sort of pixelization because it looks way too... Ah. Maybe not pixelization, but what do I want? Fragment? That didn't let me choose anything. That just blurred it. I could try a Gaussian blur. That almost makes it stand out more, if that makes any sense. Faded colors may look more natural. That or dialing the color. Yeah, that would probably help. Let's lower the fill slightly. I was also thinking about going over top of it with brick detailing, or at least underneath, having brick details, so that way it's more more affected by the environment. That would make things look a bit more natural, I would say. So, grab that color. Make this a touch bit darker. Of course, I'm not going to be filling in this entire wall because that would be insane with brick, but having spots of it. see how that looks. Wow. I can't see. I can barely see any of that. It's like almost negligible. But if I copy this, one of these underneath is multiply, and then I don't know if that did anything. I don't think it did anything. I think having it affected by some sort of lighting will definitely help it blend in more with the scene. Having multiply underneath is certainly not. I think I need to have the brick detailing be on top and that be on multiply. So currently it's not doing anything. But kinda is doing something. Not much though. Of this wall am I gonna fill up with brick? We shall see. Whatever looks good, I guess. So then I have that brick there, and then I can control how much it fills. So let's lower that a lot. I think that helps. I think one of the problems is the painting itself is just too detailed for the distance that we're viewing it. In a cartoon, they would do a chibi version of it, if that makes sense. Like how you would illustrate a character from a distance. You don't put in all the details because that looks weird. Should be a layer style that I could add to the mural that would make it look more in place. But I think the brick texturing helps ground it a bit. What kind of pixelated facet? Which one makes it into triangles? I cannot remember. That didn't give me anything at all. Awesome. Yeah, the lighting is also too perfect for that angle we see it at later on the top. Yeah, there'd be some sort of darkness on it. Quintillization might help. That just makes it a bunch of dots. Try that. Maybe less? Hold on. I think that's the best I've seen it so far. Pointillization, and then make the dots like a 10? Where is the shadow? I had that at a purple. There's not gonna be a roof on top of the mural. This is a flat wall. Have the alleyway a little bit more shaded than the actual area. Don't know if this is realistic shading, but I need something to blend it in. What else? I haven't gotten too much into the shading yet, but I think maybe it's too much of it's taking up too much of the wall. I did want it immersive, but this might be a bit too immersive. The edges are just a bit too perfect, I feel. There might be a bit more of the building showing. And I can have some rougher edges, so it's not so perfect. So then it feels more like a framing. I think that would help. And then maybe also like lightly erasing a spot to make it seem like it's fading in some spots. I think that helped. Where is that tree? I really wish that tree was on top. This is fine. We're fine. I just need to lasso this area, and then I can add some like fogging effects. I was planning on fogging out some of the streets, because I think there's some areas where I don't want to get too into the details. I just want it to disappear, you know? So I have back there, and then over here. Might do a bit of perspective blur as well. That might be good. Okay, I'm thinking a light yellow for the very top for the fogging. I might be getting a bit too early into the fogging. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I can always turn it off if it's a bit too soon. I'm gonna pull it down. Then also use the blend tool later to pull it in. Might also have it a bit at the edges to make it feel as if it's just a foggy morning. Might change up the coloring a bit. This yellow feels a bit intense. I assume you mean cool and not coal. Coal may not make the most amount of sense. Unless you mean it as coal. Yeah, cool. Dreamy in a sense. It's a little funny. I'm gonna go in and draw some deliberate lines for the fog, I think. That way it feels more intentional. Like this. This is fun. It's like wondering why the fill wasn't all that. The fill is 38. That makes sense. And then later I can go in with a perspective blur. But for now, I'm just gonna keep going on with the details because I haven't colored in everything yet. Do a less harsh line for the street ending back here. Yeah, that helps. Let's remove that for a second so I can color in the rest of the building details. But that is definitely going to help make things look more cohesive. So far with this illustration, it looks similar to the other one because as you get better with art, your style is more stable. So then the improvements you made don't necessarily immediately make the other one look super bad. Or at least, not that it was bad to begin with, but like, sometimes when you make improvements of art, it's very obvious just from immediately looking at it that you've improved in how you approach styling. And this one, there's like some slight styling differences, but it's mostly structural, I feel. So this, I think, will be more of a difference, like a spot the difference kind of illustration, rather than a, oh my gosh, everything is so different now. At least that's what it feels like to me. You guys will have to inform me when I post the side-by-side comparison. Is it better, or is it just different? I like to think it's better, but you know, other people have their own opinions. This whole aesthetic reminds me of my childhood show. Well, that's good, because my ideal for this would be a chilled... So HQ level vibes, I guess. It's good that this reminds you of a children's show, though, because I do want this to be, ideally, I would love if this could become an animated show. That would be great. I'd be so happy if that happened. like coloring with this. Why am I using Ultimate Pencil Hard? Is this too bright? Maybe it's ivy, so maybe it would be a touch bit darker. So I've got a standout building location, so I think I need some other standout buildings. I think it's just because I don't have the rest of the buildings rendered. I think once I render out the rest of the other buildings, the more rendered one will stand out less. I'm hoping. Because I do want it to stand out in the sense that it's a special building for the characters, but not so much that it feels like it doesn't belong at all. One of my friends is having trouble with their game. I keep seeing the Steam notification pop on and off as they open and close the game. Alright. So we're giving ivy to this building, which is automatically starting to give it some level of importance. I think besides the ice cream shop, this one is my favorite. I just like the contrast, and it's the bookstore, so it's automatically just a nice store in general. Oh, and we can't forget the fact that I'm doing all this stuff, but I haven't even got to the people. I need to draw people interacting with this space. Tiny birds. Have I added? I need to add some machine equipment on top of the building too. There's several details that I still need to get to. Have you caught up with Hermitcraft recently? I have not. I have been watching them. At first I watched a bunch of Hermits at the very start, but recently I've just been watching Mumbo and Grian. I need to catch up with Joel though, because I think he's doing silly things. And Tango, he's doing a lot, so I think I need to start watching him again. Because, oh my goodness, anytime I see what he's doing from other people's perspectives, I get scared. He's already almost entirely built his mountain, I feel like. Man's really said 9 to 5, 7 days a week. I don't know if that's spoilers for you, but he's building Decked Out 3, and it's insane. I heard that they did a D&D campaign. I did see that. I have not watched it yet. But that might be tomorrow's Animate 2 video. Because I like putting on YouTube videos occasionally when I'm animating. So that might be tomorrow's watch. Because I don't necessarily need to watch anything, because D&D is mostly verbal. Unless you're fancy and you get some visuals, but Most of the time it's verbal. Doing a D&D campaign just for themselves, not for any content related thing. I guess they enjoyed it enough to do it on stream. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they never did it by themselves and they were always planning on doing it in front of an audience. Just based off the interactions I already know of the hermits, I can imagine their D&D stream was very entertaining. Need to go watch that. Looking like COVID right now. Not the building itself. This illustration's looking like COVID. All nice and pretty, waiting for the people to come back. Alright, what is next? These trees are bugging me. This is supposed to take place in the fall, and yet they're giving me spring vibes. Oh, it's blue. Can I just, yeah, select the street. Change that to be more of a yeah, I want this slightly yellow toned. Things were a bit too blue before. Like, you can see the difference in the color based off of... And I know it was gonna be changed, like fixed slightly when I did the lighting. But it wasn't working for me. Let's go back in. this blue to begin with? I don't know. Maybe it seemed like it was a good color at first, and then as I went along, it just got worse as I got closer to the tone that I wanted. So then things just started being blue. Why are you blue? No, this is nowhere near when I'm supposed to. I'm like flip-flopping between when I'm supposed to do stuff, and it's fine. This is fine. Sorry about the stuff flashing on the screen. Buildings are blending together better now. What do you mean the area is empty? It's not. Pretty nice. This is feeling dreamlike. What if I made the plant plots blue? Because I have a lot of orange tones right now, and I think having some blue tones would help even things out. Not that I dislike the blue tones, just all things in balance. These are my values right now. Trees could afford to be a bit darker. Let's go in and darken this. How does that look? Color values now. Maybe I should do this in the color value area. Nope, that's just doing the entire thing. And Shift D. And then we can go in much, though. Eat that tasty taste of contrast. I think that helps, though. Okay. How horrendous do these trees look now? Not too bad, honestly. Okay, cool. Awesome. I did not want these trees to look terrible. And they're closer to the fall tone now. Let's lower the flow on this brush so it's not so dramatic. Add some spots of red to this as well. Just kind of making highlights instead of making it look as if we have different tree leaf tones. I need this to be half fall. Well, it's fall. It's just the leaves are turning. Not peak colors, but turning. You can have some drama though, that's fine. Some sort of dark red color to mix in. Yeah. I think I'll go in and also add some slight leaf details so it's not so obvious that I used a brush, like a specific texture brush to do this. How's that looking? Cute. Alright. And then let's go in and add some individual leaf details. Slightly brighter. That's a bit too bright. That works. I am so happy with how this is turning out so far. It's always really satisfying digging into a piece, spending a bit of time on it, and then having the end result be something that you are happy with. I'm not even finished yet, and I'm already pretty happy with how this is going. This is just so in the light that it's brightening this up. That's okay. I'm just going back and forth. Process. Continuous progress. I mean, there's progress. It's just not exactly linear. I keep flip-flopping between doing important base stuff and then rendering things. 'Cause rendering's really satisfying. So I just want to get to the rendering. I want to know what it looks like. Am I doing useless things right now? Am I doing tiny details that no one's gonna see because this is in the fog and it's fine? Fine. They're so satisfying. The rendering is so satisfying. But there's still big stuff I need to do. Like, I haven't colored in these plants, and I'm doing tiny details in trees. I'm being so silly right now. It's weird seeing a fog in a warm filter. That's fair. That's fair. It's giving either dream quality or the town's on fire. Maybe I should have the fog be a little less warm. It's definitely needed though. Alright. Let's mess around with a different color. Just to see how it looks. What do we think? Do we like the purple better for this? Purple or yellow? Do this blue color. Is that better? You like the purple? Also, welcome in, Alice. Alright. I could commit to purple. I think that also means I could up one of my overlay filters just slightly. Now that we're not being overwhelmed by yellow. Also, now that I'm seeing the building and all the lighting, and in comparison to my other building, there is... I think the color of this building needs to change. Just slightly. Briefly talking, I have been talking about wanting to add some balance with adding some blues in the background, so having the fog itself be blue I think helps. It makes it feel more like the morning rather than a unfortunate fog caused by Canada. Currently selecting everything so I can make this front building a bit more of a cherry red, because I was comparing this to my old illustration of this, and I enjoyed the colorization of the building up front more. Granted, I do have more powerful overlay layers that are affecting this, but I think I can change the building color slightly. How does that look? Yeah, that looks better. It's a slight change, but thank you. Slight change, but I think it was needed. So let's change the tiling up here. I'm going to need to turn off all of the fancy effects I have going on right now, because I can't color pick right now due to them. Oh, this illustration looks so scary without all of my lighting. You planning on changing the awning colors? Yeah, I'm planning on doing that. I just got a little ahead of myself and started doing some rendering. You know how it is. Just get into some start going down a rabbit hole of details. Speaking of, these bench colors need to change. They are not correct anymore. I'm greatly disliking their tone. That is much better. Without lighting still looks really nice, just a different vibe. Yes, just a different vibe. Still looks nice, I just got used to seeing it with the lighting for a second there. Alright, let's change the awning colors. I know this blue is eye-catching, but I am gonna add it to the background. I think I need more areas where this blue exists, because it's just nice. I'm not going to add too many details back in this area, just because I don't need too many. I don't want people paying attention over here. I do need the windows to act like windows. Already been 2 hours. Wait, Omiji, is that orange building the ice cream shop? I was here for a couple of those design streams ages ago. Yeah! I'm so glad you noticed. Yeah, I added in the ice cream shop. It's all coming full circle. I'm glad it's so cool. I also think it's cool. It's nice to be able to design something and then have it show up later somewhere else. To do this illustration again at some point once I design the other streets. Today is not that day. It can look like a sad open world design back there. It's okay. That's what the fog is for. Just so I know. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Did I run through? I did. I ran through the entire album. I was like wondering why it got so quiet. 'Cause the music ended. Alright, what other albums does he have? Still playing Wanderstop FM. Let's just play it again. There we go. Don't you worry. The lovely background noise is back. We're currently in the cat section of the album. The music is much appreciated. At times it's needed, because sometimes I accidentally just don't talk for a good minute or so. And that can create some awkward dead space if I don't have any background going on. Do you ever watch the channel Drawfee? I find them really inspiring for art stuff. I've watched them before. I haven't watched them I haven't been on any of their streams recently, but I do enjoy their stuff. I think they're fun. I think it's been like a year or two since I've watched any of their videos though. Bringing them up for a specific reason or just curious? Nice, all of this background design reminds me of all the stuff Julia likes to do on there. Ah, I see. Fun. Years I've been trying to deliberately get better at doing background design, because with my profession, if I'm not able to do background design, it'll be missing some oomph. So I've tried to follow a philosophy of, when doing a background design, treating the backgrounds like it's a character. It means adding in details, like the ice cream shop, and figuring out what works and what doesn't. That's why I'm going back in and adding in bike paths and whatnot. Because I could have very, very easily just kept the original illustration and sold that at Comic-Con again, because it was already doing well. But now that I'm glad I'm going back and updating it, because while it hasn't been the longest amount of time since I've worked on the piece, I feel like I've improved enough to warrant a update to the background. This background totally feels like a character. Thank you! I'm so excited about this town. I want everyone to be able to get around via bikes, and the mayor, her crowning achievement for this town is running the walled market out of town, so then it's a city of artists. It's just a whole bunch of small businesses that are thriving because there's no big box store to compete with them. People are highly encouraged to buy local and only get niche things that they can't get locally from Amazon. Because that all then feeds back into the economy, and ideally, if everyone's feeding into the economy, mostly everyone should be able to afford the things that are being offered in the town. I just like the idea of having a town that can exist as itself and doesn't need a larger commerce in order to thrive. A local self-sustaining economy? Imagine. I know, isn't it? It's like, I can only get this in a work of fiction. Like, I think most of the locals will try and source their things from the surrounding community, and if they can't, then they'll go to a larger market, but that's not their immediate thought of trying to get the cheapest thing. And they have a pretty good tourist economy because of this, because they have such a walkable little city. It brings people in because they want to go to Maine, go to Acadia National Park, and then also because there's this cute town over here that's so walkable, people just want to go walk in it. Oh, I've been wondering, how do you draw your stream thumbnails? They always look like pieces that would take me forever, but it seems like it would defeat the purpose of doing an art stream. I don't have my iPad on me at the moment, so I can't tell you the exact time that it took me for the last illustration that I did. I draw pretty quickly, so I would say at max that illustration I did for the thumbnail. I did that in Procreate and it took me an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. 2 hours max. I probably only spent an hour and a half or so on it. Yeah, it would kind of defeat the purpose if I was making so many illustrations in a week, but yeah, usually it doesn't take me much longer than an hour to do. Oh, I missed a lamp. I was coloring them all in, and then I just missed one. An hour and a half is very impressive. Cool. Yeah, usually illustrations don't take me nearly as long as this one has been taking me. I think we'd have to go over to my channel, but let me see. Live streams. I would spend 2.5 hours on that one. We'll say 2.5 hours for easy math there. So 5, 7.5. It's been 2 hours, so we've almost spent 10 hours on this piece. Crazy. Are there a lot of farms near this town so the grocery store can get things locally? Yeah, there's some smaller farms that they source from. And of course, since they're near the ocean, they also have some local fisheries that they get their fish produce from. I would like to believe that the town would just eat seasonally and not worry about the larger global market, but I know that's not always realistic because people do like having variety in the winter and having fresh fruit. So I'm sure there would still be some imports food-wise, but they would be highly incentivized to buy in-season fresh produce. Fish! Yeah, fish. Me personally, I don't like eating fish, but I know there's a bunch of people who do. And also, it's Maine. It'd be kind of weird if people weren't eating fish in Maine. So is this town near a coastline or beach? It is... So the town is called Ellsworth, Maine. That's what I'm basing this on. I might need to change the name in the actual story because I'm not sure if Ellsworth would actually like that I went in and went, what if I changed that? Yeah, it's Ellsworth, Maine. So you can find it on the map. It's near Acadia National Park. So it's about 30, it's like a 15-minute drive from the coast, I think. I was looking it up. You could ride your bike over to River Union Bay in about 15 minutes. Not 15 minutes, sorry, half an hour or so. 20 minutes if you were being quick about it. It's a cool little spot. I could have referenced Bar Harbor, but I want it more inland town to reference. Because Bar Harbor's cool, but it's very specific. And part of my want to inspire others into thinking how towns can be approached. They don't necessarily always have to have a bunch of parking on the street. Their businesses can be located close together. I wanted to model a realistic but idealized version of an American town, if that makes sense. So having it be too much of a coastal town, I think, would push it into a realm of fantasy that would make envisioning a average American town hard like this. That's part of the reason why I didn't reference Bar Harbor instead for the town. I'm talking about Bar Harbor as if you guys recognize it. I have no idea if you know what Bar Harbor is. Essentially, it is the town that is closest to Acadia National Park. It's on a bit of an island. It's very cute. It's like a coastal city, and there's like a lot of boardwalks and whatnot. I think there's also a aquarium near there. Pretty sure. The last time I was actually in Maine was when I was a kid. I want to go back. I'll take that as I am very delighted that you're making that comparison, because from what I've heard, he gets so into his designs. So you comparing me to Scar talking about his theme park. I've put a lot of thought into this. I've been radicalized by there's some YouTube channels that talk about how you could design a walkable city, and then they compare it to all of these Nordic European cities that are walkable, and I'm looking at all of their bike paths going, that's tasty. But then there's that, and then also when I went on a trip to Greece, because my grandpa was very nice and wanted to have his birthday out there, my favorite towns were the little ones where things were so encased and you could just walk around and it was super cool. My favorite town was just this tiny one that had a whole bunch of small shops located close together. And I want to capture that feeling in my story of being able to walk around in the city and have it be fun and not feel like a chore because architecture's so hostile that you don't want to exist there. I think a lot of design has forgotten that part of what makes a good design is also aesthetic. They go for maybe the purely cheapest option, or they try and make it hostile to people who want to linger. And they forget about the fact that people want to exist here. I think the best cities are the ones that you forget you're in a city because the space you're in is so enclosed that you don't feel as if you're walking in a super big place. You feel like you're walking in a cozy place. When am I gonna work on this? I don't know. I feel like I'm doing pretty good here. I'm not feeling too tired. Might be a bit late for some people, I'm not sure. But I think we're doing good. How are you peeps feeling? one of the things I've been doing is I've been making a garden proposal PowerPoint presentation. It's not with PowerPoint, it's with Google Slides, but I'm making a garden proposal because me and my dad are in a new place and I want to do things. I have plans. I have grass to rid. You know, the usual things. And I need his permission because he does own the yard, which means he does have a say in how the yard looks. But I have plans. I want to plant native plants. Have a front yard vegetable garden because the backyard gets no sun. The string. Hopefully your schoolwork will lighten on the weekend and you'll have a chance to relax. Thank you for stopping in. It's lovely having you. What I'll do is I'll finish up drawing the greenery in this garden bed and then end the stream there. I think we've made some significant progress on the illustration. I'll get a better idea of how much progress has been made when I post the side-by-side view of this. Because last week I posted the progress, and that was pretty fun. So I'll post it again. It'll be fun. You can look at all of the things. I completely forgot. I messed up with the line art, so I had to completely. I got backtracked a good hour, so I had to go back and I've worked well over 10 hours on this project. Doing this on stream, it's making the motivation to actually do this much better. I think I heard my dad head downstairs to go to bed. Might be a sign for me to finish things up here. With that, I think finish the greenery in that bed. How's it looking with all the extra stuff? Pretty darn cute, I'd say. Alright, we'll save this here, and I think I'm gonna call it for stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining in with me as I worked on this project. It was a lot of fun, and we've made a lot of progress. I will be streaming this again next week, And hopefully we'll have everything colored in so I can start adding in the people. I kind of need to populate this. It's feeling vaguely COVID-esque. There's some cars, so it's helping not feel that way, but the town's very empty. I need it not to be empty. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right. I'm gonna call it for the night, and I'll see you guys next week. All right. Have a good rest of your night. Bye.